Major Gaming, back for another video. And in today's video, we are here to react to angry Karens reacting to life sentences. I just found this video in my recommended feed. Seemed pretty interesting. I do want to clarify before starting this video, though, that by no means am I hating on the people portrayed in this video, nor am I bashing them or judging them for the crimes they have committed. Neither should you guys. This is not something that should be glorified. It is something that should be analyzed and looked through for criminal justice reasons. And since I have taken 4 years of criminal justice in high school, I think it would be beneficial to actually use some of that experience in this case. So just wanted to put that out there before starting. Again, I will not be judging these people. I will make comments about some of the stuff that's mentioned and said, but I will not be judging, and I will not advocate for judgment either. So please respect these people. These are some of the worst times of their lives. The worst point in their lives, considering they're having life sentences. So please have some respect for some of the people that are being portrayed here, and I will do the same. I do understand that glorifying it and making a video about it probably defeats the purpose of this, but here we are, all right? So please respect these people, respect me, and respect everybody else. Respect all around. Hey, screw it. So yeah, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into it.
You're welcome to the Chula Vista Superior Court, where Judge Patricia Garcia presides over Darla Jackson's trial, a 25-year-old woman who chased down and ran over a U.S. sailor in a road rage incident. He sustained severe injuries and was later pronounced dead at the hospital. Darla Jackson was charged in court with the first-degree murder of 39-year-old Navy Chief Petty Officer Zach Buab. Darla Jackson was seen in court with her head bowed and in tears as she was arraigned. She continued to shake and cry as the proceedings continued. Darla said that she deeply regretted everything that had happened and that it ended badly for everyone involved. The mother of one was riding a Nissan Altima when she was involved in an altercation with Zach Buo, who was on a motorcycle. After making hand gestures at her and kicking the side of her car, Darla began to chase him down and eventually hit him from behind at top speed. She said she never meant to harm him and only wanted to get his plate number details, but some eyewitnesses.
I will say that I don't believe the license plate details part, but I do think it doesn't seem planned. It doesn't seem like she knew this person. It just seemed road rage incident. I think first degree murder is probably a too harsh of a charge for this. Second degree murder with an additional manslaughter charge, maybe that would have been fine. I would say, but a first degree, it doesn't seem to be planned. It doesn't. She does seem very remorseful that she did kill him. So.
Witnesses believed that it was interesting. However, her defense attorney, Stephen Klein, begged to differ. He said,
"She's very sorry. She's very scared. She's very upset. She's very traumatized."
At the accident scene, several cars stopped along the freeway to assess the damage caused and assist the victim, even as first responders attended to Zach in an attempt to save his life. Eyewitnesses confirmed that Darla had been chasing down the victim, who was riding ahead on a motorcycle before the fatal crash occurred. This video clip from a passenger's cell phone,
I guess if you're chasing them and actively seeking them,
eyewitness accounts.
Maybe.
Darla was in hot pursuit of the motorcycle before crashing into it from behind.
How would you describe the behavior of the Altima in your perception?
Pretty aggressive.
And was that from the beginning to the end, or just at certain points?
Yeah, from the beginning to the end.
A witness at the scene of the incident was questioned and gave his testimony in court. This is what he had to say.
Somebody came over and was holding his head. Somebody was holding a wound on his leg. And then they said he stopped breathing. So somebody started CPR. I guess I would call it a little hysterical. She was saying, "I didn't mean to do this, and I was just trying to get his information."
Meanwhile, a throng of motorcycle riders were present outside the courtroom as they protested the incident and called for justice.
I mean, makes sense.
I
will say that in a lot of states, countries even, motorcycles don't get the road respect that they deserve, and safety. It's supposed to be there for safety reasons. Lane splitting is there for a reason. It's not because they're trying to be assholes. No, it's there for a reason. Can I describe that reason? Not really. However, I do see it as a necessity. In the emergency cases as well, I see it as a necessity. I would have given her multiple other charges, but to go straight to first-degree murder is probably too strong. However, I do understand the severity of what she did that can elevate it to that point. I would have, if I was her lawyer, I would have probably argued for second-degree manslaughter and reckless endangerment. That's probably what I would have argued for. Now, that's a hell of a lot different than first-degree murder, which carries a mandatory life sentence on first degree? I'm pretty sure it was.
Boob also spoke passionately about their lost loved one and asked that the court mete out the maximum sentence for the crime. After the sentencing, Zach's father later commented that he did not believe justice had been served. As the judge read out the sentence of 6 years, Darla Jackson erupted in tears.
6 years? I thought we were getting
loudly, shaking
life
over as the sentence was read. The judge said there wasn't enough evidence to prove that she had run Zach over deliberately.
Okay, good. She was, I'll let it play through, but she was charged for first-degree murder, didn't get sentenced for it, though.
That she still deserved to spend some time in prison for her actions.
Agreed.
She was sentenced to 6 years in a women's correctional facility.
Okay. So, with that being said, I do agree with the judge on his ruling that not enough evidence to support the fact that she deliberately tried to kill this man. No. So, first-degree murder can't be the case. Second-degree murder, I could argue second-degree murder. It does seem like she was aggressive. Well, he was aggressive first. Then she continued to go and go, didn't stop, turned into second degree in that moment, being reckless in the side of a car. But that's what I would have argued and tried to. That way she would have spent, I think, a mandatory 2, maximum 6 under third degree.
Court, where Judge James Daniel presides over the trial of Kimberly Kessler, a 50-year-old woman who killed her co-worker and made the body disappear forever. Kimberly Kessler was charged in court with the first-degree murder.
Who just says that? Just so casually slips that in there, made the body disappear forever.
Police began a futile search for her before realizing that she'd been killed by her co-worker, a dangerous woman who had been on the run for 2.5 decades. Jolene was supposed to pick up her children from her ex-husband, but never showed up, arousing suspicions as to her whereabouts. When the police contacted Kimberly, since they believed she was the last person to see Jolene, she gave excuses not to show up and refused to go to work. In court, Kimberly portrayed typical Karen behavior, throwing
she looks crazy,
and yelling during court proceedings. She was completely uninterested and uncooperative and had to be confined to a separate room at some point as she watched the trial via a video link. In a malicious attempt to be exempted from the trial, Kimberly Kessler embarked on a self-starvation spree, losing tremendous weight. She appeared in the courtroom looking extremely emaciated and had to be wheeled in with a wheelchair. Reports indicated that she dripped from 196 pounds to only 74 pounds. The judge, however, overlooked her.
I'm sorry, how is she? I mean, she wasn't walking, that's right. She was completely malnourished because of that.
Tantrums and ruled that she was mentally competent for trial. The tantrums continued.
I want to get rid of the public defender's office. Yeah, exactly. Jordan Beard is Johnson's nephew. Jordan Beard is Jolie's cousin. Jordan Beard is Jolie's cousin. And I refuse this assigned counsel. I refuse the public defender's office. I refuse it. I have refused it. I refuse the public defender's office. They appointed Jordan Beard, Jolie Fleming's cousin.
You can go ahead and add a contempt of court, or not a contempt. Contempt of court is when you don't show up. This court, I think that would be the charge. Something of that sort. You can add on a charge for her making a disturbance in the courtroom as well. So.
When she refused to be quiet and allow court proceedings to go on smoothly, she was instructed to be wheeled out of the courtroom. As she was being taken out, she continued to speak at the top of her voice.
Sure, I can sit up here and I'm going to say what I want, when
this me for years. So let everyone know this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Her accusations were looked into but found to be untrue and baseless. It appeared that she just wanted to be able to represent herself in court.
Well, we went through and I said, well, what's your basis? And she said the same thing, which was he's related to, I guess, the deputy or director Johnson, which is just factually not true. So,
That wasn't even true.
The police officers also had much to say about her conduct in the prison.
I would have said that she could have had a legitimate case had they actually been related in some way. Don't know what on basis of what. Guess you can say, oh, they're conspiring against her, blah, 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 but there would be no evidence for that other than the fact of family member, but that wasn't even true.
Would violently refuse to eat, undress herself, smear feces on the walls, and even hurl it at prison officials.
She is completely undressed and has feces smeared on the window.
Court hearings proceeded without Kimberly physically present in the courtroom. Her desperate attempts to hamper the rule of law were unsuccessful. Evidence was presented proving that she did indeed kill her co-worker, Jolene. Her search history showed that she had searched for co-worker guilty of murder, missing person, body not found before the incident, and Jolene Cummings, no body, no crime. The sentence was given by Judge James H. Daniel.
Court will adjudicate Kimberly Kesselman, defendant, also known as Jennifer Marie Cyrus, guilty, sentence her to life in prison without any possibility of release or parole.
She was sentenced to life in jail without the possibility of parole.
Good. This is the second crime I'll say. Well, the first crime that I can 100% agree with is life and no possibility of release or parole. And for that being for the fact that she is completely not mentally insane. That wasn't even on there, but she is just not right. Something is definitely wrong with her. They proved her to be competent. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if I personally believe that.
Welcome to the Vista Superior Court, where Diana Lovejoy is standing trial for conspiring to kill her estranged husband, Greg Mulvihill. Judge Sim von Kalinowski presides over the case. 45-year-old Diana Lovejoy was charged in court with conspiracy to commit murder. In court, Diana Lovejoy showed no emotions, even as her ex-husband testified of the harrowing events that occurred when he was lured into a death trap by his wife and an accomplice, her gun instructor. Before the crime, Diana had reported to Child Protective Services that her husband had sexually assaulted her and that she suspected he was assaulting their 3-year-old son. This was brought up in court, but evidence showed that the case was considered false.
He had to go through numerous psychological evaluations. He had to see psychiatrists, psychologists, therapists. The unanimous conclusion was that this was made up, that he had not molested his little boy.
The truth was that Diana just wanted to be the one who walked away from the divorce with everything. She didn't want to pay Greg, her ex-husband, his $120,000 share of a house they jointly owned, and also...
You wanted... That's what they make prenups, and actually, yeah. No, I can't take anything. My bad. You sign a prenup to where the other person has no entitlement to the other person's belongings. Yeah, that's right. Anyway, tough titty. I'll be honest, that's tough. That's tough. You wanted the divorce, you wanted everything, blah, blah, blah. Tough. You get in a marriage, it's supposed to be a joint thing. That's why the prenup is an option and not a requirement. It's an option. You have to split everything 50-50 and give or take, depending on the person's lawyers and whatnot. That's a very scummy thing that she was trying to do there. And does it warrant what her sentencing is? Maybe.
Also didn't want to share custody of their only child. So she decided that taking him out was...
Not only did she want the house, wanted the kid, wanted everything. This woman tried to basically put that man in her that she's in.
The best option.
Wild.
However, she continued to deny this
how the
accomplice,
turntables turned.
David Jr., also stating that if he actually wanted to kill Greg, he'd be dead.
I fired 6 shots in the air, and once they started running, I ceased fire.
Marines are taught if they wanted to kill someone 2 to the center, mass. 1 to the head.
Thankfully, Greg was not alone when the shooting occurred. He was with a friend who promptly called for emergency rescue. In no time, he was being examined by doctors who realized that the bullet had only barely missed his heart. Just a little closer, and Greg Mulvihill would have been dead. The police patrol remained on the scene, fearing that there was a random shooter on the prowl for more victims, until they caught wind of what the real situation was. It was discovered that Diana had paid $1,000 to McDavid to shoot her husband. He lured him into the area.
Ain't no way, bro. Ain't no way that you got, first off, managed to get your gun instructor. When you're a gun instructor, you're in that position for a reason. It's because you know how to handle firearms and you know what they are used for. So he should get his entire license revoked for that, and also have a hitman charge out on him. She hired a hitman to kill her. She hired a hitman to kill her husband.
Saying that he had some information that could be useful in helping him resolve the conflicts in his divorce case and get all that he was entitled to. But by the time Greg arrived, McDavid was somewhere in the bushes with his gun mounted and ready to take the shot. When Greg and his friend spotted him, it was already too late. Shots had been fired, and Greg Mulvihill was badly hit. As they placed a call to 911, Greg lost consciousness.
And we ran the other direction, away from the gunfire.
Lying in the sniper position, shoots 6 to 7 more rounds.
As the judge read out the sentence of 26 years, Diana Lovejoy looked to her attorney in shock and then proceeded to collapse in her chair as her family members began to scream for her to be helped. The courtroom was immediately vacated, and emergency responders examined Diana before she was wheeled out on a stretcher to be taken to the hospital.
We, the jury, in the above entitled cause, find the defendant, Diana Jean Lovejoy, guilty of the crime of attempted murder of Greg. We further find true the allegation that Diana Jean Lovejoy was vicariously armed with a firearm.
Diana Lovejoy will be spending the next 26 years in jail.
What about her accomplice? Do we get anything on him? Because at the very least, his gun instructing license revoked. Because that is completely and utterly disgusting and wrong. Wow. This video, like I said, not intended to judge, make fun of, or even glorify, I guess, these sentencings and trials. When these things happen, it is very real, and these are real lives basically being destroyed. Is it in the name of justice? Some cases, yes. Some cases, no. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in. But out of all of the cases we saw here today, I think actually all of them were rightful. Whether or not they should have been at different degrees varies. As for everyone else, I think they were rightful, especially the one that sent out a hitman onto her husband. You hire a hitman out, $1,000 hitman. First off, awful. $1,000 to be a hitman? Nah, I would never take that deal. You know, for higher than that, much higher. And even then, I still wouldn't take it. I still wouldn't take it. No. But putting out that hit on her husband just for her to get everything in the divorce, that's why you go through a divorce attorney. You can't get 100% of it unless that person has done something completely in the wrong, like what she was trying to prove with her son, which awful. Why would you do that? That's an awful thing to do. But yeah, it goes to show that there's a lot of awful people out in this world, and they will do anything and everything in their power to bring you down. And if that means bringing you down with them, then there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. I did take a week off just so I can mentally decompress and all of that, and I'm back now. I'm feeling better. I'm feeling great. So yeah, look out for more videos. They'll be coming, I promise. With all that being said, peace.